Now finally we have come to a conclusion, that is in the talent management acquisition and the overall the deployment, development, assessment and research. We have to make the lot of efforts, and we are required to give a specific attention for this talent management. Now we will talk about certain critical issues and why these issues have been taken, so that the certain research can be done on these particular aspects. For example, when we are talking about these issues, what are these issues are, that will be the covering into the part of this introduction. Then the specifically when we are talking about the talent management, those relevant issues, race to reskill, that we have already discussed, that is the overall talent management means it is a game of the knowledge and skills. Those who are highly knowledgeable and having high skills, so they will be treated as a different employees as compared to the normal employees. So employee experience, about their experience, and with all these discussions finally we will have the case study. So companies today face the formidable talent challenges, and the ability to sustain a steady supply of critical talent is a challenging facing all organizations worldwide is there. In spite of all these practices, we are talking about the different organizations, but still organizations are facing a problem of that is how to manage the talent. That is a critical issue. First and foremost is the acquisition is becoming a very difficult because the those who have been identified after joining the organization, it is also been observed they are not having that reflection what they have demonstrated during these different level of the interviews. So it is a critical talent is a challenging is there, and all organizations worldwide, especially the LEs, large enterprises, and the global organizations, multinational organizations, so they are facing this particular type of the problem. Among the issues impacting the next generation workforce are impending skill shortages. Many times many efforts have been made to develop a relationship between the requirement of the industries and the skills development is there. But always whenever industries are ready to acquire, recruit, they find that there is a shortage of the required skills, and this is to be taken very seriously. However, I have also tried during my headship to connect the industry and academia, but my experience is this, that is with the period of time, because you have to be proactive for that. If you are proactive and really when there is a the time for the results, so people are changing in the organizations. That person with whom you have made the MOU, you are working on this particular direction, path, and developing the association between the industry and academia. And when really academia needs that time, there is somebody else, other face is there in the industry. And invariably they will say that now skills have been changed. So you are that past 1.5 year, because MBA is normally 2 years program. So your past 1.5 years, whatever the efforts you have made, so that becomes big zero. Even when there is a prediction of the nature of industries, normally we talk about the energy, environment, agriculture, that these are the emerging industries are there. But if we want to prepare the manpower for that, then from the student side they do not want to be a specific MBA, not a specific skills, they want generic skills, because their problem is placement. So they feel that is, if we will do the MBA in a specific area, it will be narrow down our scope. So we are the MBA ready to work for any nature of organization. So as a result of which you will find that it is the next generation workforce are impending skill shortages. So when you are talking about the generic skills, industry is looking for the specific skills. When the specific skills are developed, by the time the use of skills are coming, they say no, the skills have been changed. So, therefore, an increasingly cross generational and diverse workforce. The need for knowledge transfer from retiring baby boomers and significant leadership gaps are there. So, it is becoming very important, very much important. It is the whatever the knowledge level is going to be the transfer. Now, when we talk about the manufacturing industries, when we talk about the PSUs, the very large enterprises, and that knowledge has to be transferred. And by the time the knowledge has been transferred, then there will be the problem of the significant leadership. So, ultimately to identify first, to identify the right skills and knowledge required by the industries, that is very important. Then the persons behind this particular strategy, talent management strategy, they are required to be themselves continue in the organization. If they are leaving the organizations, the next person comes and then again you have to reinvent the wheel. So, therefore, it becomes a critical issue is there. Second very important aspect is that intense cost pressure from both traditional and emerging competitors. And recently we had that COVID experience. So, therefore, in that case this cost pressure has become double, because already there is no earning and the minimum cost we have to bear for the overhead cost, especially that has to be continued irrespective of the external environmental situations. So, cost pressure is already there, delivery is not there, outcome is 0, ROI is no 0. So, therefore, traditional and emerging competitors are there. New markets, now in new normal there will be the new markets are there, virtual markets are there, e-commerce is there, and more demanding customers are additional elements. Now, one side the e-commerce is becoming popular, but the other side, that is the customers are not satisfied. Maybe because of the our culture, that is we visit, we see, we touch and then feel the product and then we buy the product. So, therefore, that much sentiments are attached with the product. But here we find that is there is nothing like this. So, that give a new sense of urgency to the concept of talent management. So, demanding customers are the additional elements and that demand is keep on changing. Today is a particular demand, tomorrow is demand change, market change. So, at a time when organizations need to optimize their workforces, most agree that talent management is of the strategic importance. So, it is so complex, the knowledge, the required skills, the market, the global pressure, the cost pressure. So, here it is becoming a very difficult to manage the talent. So, what is required? A strategic importance is required to run the talent management is there. So, we will be discussing certain issues in this talent management, keeping in mind this particular background of the issues and problems and challenges. So, one is the race to reskill, employee experience. Your company will work for the employees, not just the other way around. Work flexibility, talent and technology, multi-generational workforce from Gen Z to the baby boomers and beyond, good talent will prove ageless. So, first one is the race to reskill. We transform the workforce by reskilling for a new world economy. Now, you see every time you cannot go for the recruitment. So, as per the requirement of our the organization and business environment, we have to do the reskilling, that is a training, and that is why I have talked earlier into the development, that is you have to keep on developing your manpower. It is a continuous non-ending process. So, with transformation in everyday reality, reskilling is the biggest opportunity and challenge of the decade. So, whatever we are doing, the reskilling is there, right. So, we have to identify the demand of the market, the new market development, the future of business. We have to predict maybe through hypothesis, that is yes, this will be the demand and this will be the supply. However, we can go by the trend analysis also. So, ultimately whatever areas we identify, we have to do the reskilling of our manpower for those areas. Without accelerating our progress on the skills agenda, because the skills, as I mentioned, it will be keep on upgrading again and again. We would not have the talent to take advantage of the new jobs we are creating. So, whatever the new jobs we are creating, right, then we have to take the advantage of that, because we are developing the talent, we are developing the new skills. So, it is a wonderful effort. This is both a business and talent HR challenge, that whatever the business is there and talent HR challenge. So, it requires organization wide interventions to deliver the results. So, what naturally organizations have to take care of this. So, one by one we will see. Skills have been high on the business agenda always, since the technology's impact on the job becomes apparent. And when we are talking about that is the how badly the technology is affecting the business, and therefore, in that case the development of the skill development of your manpower is required into new technology. An event like COVID-19 gives us the impetus to think about how the workforce can be reskilled from one sector to another. And there are number of examples are there, that people have stopped their traditional business, people have stopped their even the other businesses and try to do something new, and therefore, that workforce of reskilled from one sector to another, that is becoming very common. But here the support of the society, support of the environment is very much necessary. This year executives state an urgent and clear mandate for the reskilling to drive transformation. So, we will talk about the figure in the next figure. Globally, reskilling is seen as a top management activity most capable of delivering a return on investment. So, whatever is the return on investment is there, that we have to see in the eyes of the executives are there. So, therefore, the top 10 activities are right, and that will be decided, that is the how we are developing that particular reskilling. So, this is figure D, which is transformation challenges, workforce capability and the future skills 41%. So, therefore, here is the requirement. So, there will be required the transformation of the 41% is required. Lack of understanding of the need for transformation, organization's ability to finance change. Now, again it is becoming a major area. So, when the organization's ability is to change the 41%, so that is becoming a very huge number. The lack of understanding of the needs of our transformation. Still people are not able to understand, that is the knowledge and skills are required to change. Even these in the COVID period, when we find that is the number of people they are becoming the jobless, but they are not ready. They are not ready for their transforming themselves, changing their skills and knowledge level. If that is so, then it will become a big issue. So, lack of understanding of the need for the transformation is there. Inertia and change resistance, fixed mindset is there 39%. Always there is a resistance to change, and if there is a resistance to change, there will be the inertia. One is that mindset, resistance to change is natural, but other one is that is the, if we are having that inertia strong and supporting that inertia, then definitely it will be more difficult to change the fixed mindset. So, if you want to do this successfully this particular change, then definitely our inertia that has to be supportive. 38% inadequate deployment of the new technology, and there are two reasons. One is the finance, other is manpower. So, either the organizations are not having that financial condition or the affordable financial situation, that is they can introduce the new technology. Second is manpower. Manpower is not that strong enough to develop those skills, and as a result of which there is not an adequate deployment, and the old people they are replacing to the new people, and then these old peoples they are working on those directions only where these new people want to go, and then as a result of which inadequate transformation is there. So, this is becoming 38%. Leadership willingness to drive the change agenda 36%. Now, when we are talking about the employees and talented employees are there, but when actually practically when implications comes, that is how to make the changes, then at that time there is not the enough efforts are there, and then these leadership willingness to drive the change agenda is not seen that strongly, which we are recommending in the last sessions. The talent management will be possible only when the leaders are willing to change the agenda. And what type of agenda? The new skill development, new product development, innovative ideas. So, it is totally new. So, it is not the that safeguard like from the traditional it was done, the teacher has said and then they are able to implement. No, with the period of time when there is the inadequate deployment is there, now we have to see our driving role also. Decline in employee trust and motivation, a big problem, 34%. So, that is the trust building between the employer and employee, employee and employee and employee and employer and employer and employer. So, all these aspects there is no trust. So, trust is lacking. So, declining in the employee trust, the other factor is more important, that is a motivation, willingness, and people are not willing because the perception is that my time period for in this organization is very short. So, I need not to do the much efforts. Those who want to spend the long time, they will make more efforts. But as we have seen, the generations are coming for a particular time period and then working and then go away. So, therefore, this task is becoming more difficult. That is how to get the trust and motivation amongst the employees, willingness to do, willingness to perform. And as we are saying, inertia and change resistance, fixed mindset is there, but you are making the changes, forcing the changes, again change, and the duration of the change period is very small, maybe the 2 to 3 months, and then again you come and say there is a need of change. So, therefore, in that case the employee change fatigue is also changing. Many old employees, right. So, they are not ready to change. So, change fatigue is much more in them as compared to new employees. And the suboptimal communication mechanisms 32%, last one here in this slide, and very much minimum and little is required in the case of suboptimal communication mechanisms. Second one is race to outpace disruptions with the capability. Making progress on the reskilling requires the cultivation of a learning mindset at both the individual and organizational level. So, from this discussion it was very clear that there is a requirement of change, there is a requirement of transformation, employees are having the resistance to change. So, therefore, how to make the control this disruption with capability? This requires a relook at goals and the setting aside of both the time and financial investment for learning. So, as a result of which there is a disruption both the individual and organizational level. So, people are not ready to learn. So, if they are not ready to learn, what to do? This requires a relook at the goals. What are your goals? And really, do you need that much of big organization? And the setting aside of both time and financial investment for learning. And when you are considering this particular time period, then definitely you have to focus on both the time and financial investment both. Just 1 in 3 HR leaders say they are investing in future learning and workforce reskilling as a part of their strategy to prepare for the future of work. So, this is also the HR executives, right. They are also ready to face this type of situations. So, they say that is in future learning workforce are the reskilling, they have to reskill. So, you will require the new manpower, so old manpower had to be removed, but it is very difficult. As part of the strategy to prepare for the future of work, they require to be developed. But it is not like the foreign countries that in India you will be able to develop the HR manpower as soon as and doing the reskilling as per your need based. That is not possible. So, what is required? The growth mindset is required. What is the growth mindset? Failure is an opportunity to grow, growth mindset. So, failure, change, right, developing new knowledge, new skills, innovation, creativity, these are the words for the mindset. So, one has to learn to do anything what I want, I can learn to do anything I want. So, always I have focused I can, and that I can is justified here. So, I can learn to do many things I want. The challenges help me to grow, I can, right. So, what is it? Accepting the challenges, that will be the objectives. My effort and attitude determine my abilities. Whatever the efforts and attitude I develop, right. So, they will be developing my abilities. So, that is a growth mindset is required. Naturally, there will be certain success and failures. So, feedback is required, feedback is constructive, and as a result of which I am inspired by the success of others, and therefore, you want to develop the yourself as a role model with as your role model you have seen, and I like to try new things. So, therefore, in that case this will be the especially the growth mindset, and when you will be having this type of the growth mindset, then definitely you will be continuous process, growth will be a continuous journey. So, reskilling instead of the releasing, KeyBank USA, the case study, digital innovation is accelerating quickly, particularly for the financial service sectors where organizations are competing for the world class talent. KeyBank, the 13th largest bank in the United States, recognized that attracting the right talent to achieve the strategic business goals would be difficult in increasingly tight talent market, right. This you have to see that whenever you are talking about the tight talent market, that is the getting the right type of the people, as digital automation and cognitive technologies are intensifying. Why? Because there is a tremendous change in the digital automation and the cognitive technologies. KeyBank has enabled 4,000 colleagues from an 18,000 person workforce to start reskilling towards emerging new roles and career paths. KeyBank colleagues are making to become the CEOs of their own careers. That is the point which is required. This work led to a future ready workforce program. So, what is the future ready workforce program? In the future ready workforce program, defining the skills needed now and in the future. Now, what is the future? Here I would advise at least for the 5 years. So, therefore, in next 5 years what skills will be required and how will be there will be the development of these skills by the employees. Creating a job marketplace which will be having the continual training and learning programs. Change management and communication will be the part of this, the future readiness program is there. So, therefore, first and foremost is it is the next 5 years what skills will be required, that will be defined, and developing the manpower within the organization itself. So, that they are creating the themselves competency, and when develop the competency it becomes the job marketplace. Continual training and learning is required. Whenever there is this type of the issues, then continual training and learning is required. and naturally on the basis of this we will be able to make the changes by proper communication. So, we captured the success stories and have been sharing employee narratives of their learning journeys. Whatever they are learning, that journeys are on, in order to make this a more personal transformation, transforming the individuals, and this transformation of the individual is depending upon that how you are developing them right from the job and skill requirement to further developing the self confidence, right. So, this learning journey, that is the more and more personal transformation is there. So, that is the KTO's employee engagement leader is saying. For KeyBank, the bottom line is that this program will enhance its overall talent strategy right from the developing. So, therefore, it is a proactively working to position the company to evolve and meet changing client needs, because why we are developing the manpower for the future client needs and business priorities all while managing industry disruptions to the workforce is there. While there are the different disruptions are there, and while managing this disruption, the industry perspective will be seen. That is what they have learned. So, in the current climate, it is better to reskill your people rather than let them go. Now, everybody is talking about the talent retention, because people know if the talent is there, it will be retained. So, that retention is, that is the reskilling is done. You have to change them, because they are the employees, those who are working since long, and now the according to the demand, now the technology is more savvy employees are required, then definitely in that case it will be the change in the manpower to reskill, and to reskill your people rather than let them go. It is better. You cannot lose talent just because their jobs have changed. So, naturally what you will do with these particular employees, because their job has been changed. So, if their jobs have been changed, you have to reskill and update and upgrade them and make the again the use in the industries. Otherwise, in India it will be a big problem, that in spite of having the talented people, because they are not able to fulfill the future requirements, they will face the problem. So, to avoid this, it is very much necessary, that is you are going to reskill your employees. Expanding and rebranding a traditional corporate function, that is employee experience, and as companies become more employee centric, they are creating more employee experience roles. Mature organizations are hiring dedicated ex personnel, while smaller companies are bypassing human resources altogether and branding their people function employee experience right off the gate. So, therefore, in that case, in the current scenario, it becomes very important how the large enterprises, big companies, how they are making the decisions, because they are also shrinking, and then there will be the human resource together, right, and so what are the HR functions are there, that will be seen, and similarly employee experience right out of the gate. So, those who are going for their developing their own businesses, they will also see what is to be done. So, employee experience roles are rapidly growing. So, 2014 to 2019 you will find a 2.4 times increases since the 2014, right. So, therefore, these knowledge and skills, current jobs that is utilized includes this phrase employee experience, that is must. If they are able to manage, then definitely they will be able to see these talent management practices. So, finally what we can say, working together to create a better experience, companies are putting themselves in employees' shoes, that is the employee experience is there, and experience is everything an employee observes, feels and interacts with as a part of their company. It is distinct from the employee engagement, and while engagement is the end goal, engaged employees are more committed and productive. So, we have to create the more these employees, right, those who will be more productive and as a means to get there. If they are able to reach there, then definitely they will be more successful. So, this is all about this the employee experience, employee engagement and developing the talent for the future. Thank you.